This is Puzzle 59 from Sudoku To Go, Volume 115 by Soap Opera Digest. This video is part 2 of Forget Patterns. Forget patterns means finding numbers by looking at raw cells or empty cells and not looking for patterns. There are videos on patterns that have been published recently, and there will be several more videos on patterns coming soon. But here we find numbers by just looking at empty cells in boxes, and you'll see what I mean as we get going. You can go to sudokuprimer.com and learn about patterns. There's a new pattern section out there that you can look at and learn more about patterns. Now, patterns are still important. I'm not saying completely ignore patterns, but I'm just illustrating how you can look at empty cells rather than just looking for patterns all the time. Well, to get started, normally what we'll do is we'll start going through sections looking for numbers 1 through 9. So we'll start with ones here. 1, 1, 1. So there's a 1. 1. But hold on a second. Let's back up for a second, and we found that 1 can only fit in one of these two cells in box 3. Now that means if there's another number out here that isn't in box 3 already, we will find a twin. There's a 9 already in the box, but there isn't an 8, so the 1 and 8 are twins in this box. Now we can't solve them yet, we don't have enough information, but we know these are twins, and therefore we know what these three numbers are. And once we find these three numbers, we'll know what these three numbers are. Now normally what we'll do is we'll count 1 through 9 in this box to find out what these three numbers are, and then we'll count 1 through 9 in this row to find out what these three numbers are. But there's a different way to do it. It's a little bit more efficient. We know these are 1 and 8, even though we can't solve them. And so we know what all 6 of these numbers are, and there's a relationship between these 6 numbers and these 6 numbers. We already have a 1, 8, and 9 in this row outside this box. So the 1, 8, and 9, 1, 8, and 9 are already here, but we can see the other 3 numbers by looking right here, 2, 3, and 6. So all we have to do is look for numbers here that aren't already here, or I'm sorry, look for numbers here that aren't already in this row, and we'll find them, 2, 3, and 6. Now let's see what we can do with those. There's a 3 here, so that's a 3 right there. And then we can solve the 6 and the 2 also. Now let's see what these numbers are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 4, 5, and 7. And that's a 7 there, 5 there, and a 4 there. So just by looking for twins here, we found twins, and we were able to solve the entire row here just by finding these twins, even though we couldn't solve the twins themselves. Now let's look at this section right here. We'll do that same thing. Here we have that same pattern as we had here, only upside down because this is a symmetrical puzzle. And by the way, when I say forget patterns, this is actually an L pattern right here. And if you look at video number 141, you can learn about the L pattern. But in this video, we just ignored the fact that we had an L pattern here. We just looked for empty cells.
So let's do that same thing here. We've got a 2, 4, and a 7.
2, there's a 4 already, and 7. So we have two 7 twins here. Let's see. So can you see what 3 numbers are missing here? Because we have two 7 twins here. It's 5, 6, and 9, because we've already got a 4 here. So these are 5, 6, and 9. And let's see if we can solve any of those. There's a 6 there, a 9 there, and 9 there. So we know that's a 9 right there. And let's see what these 3 numbers are here. See, that's 2 and 7 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 3, and 8. We can solve there's the 8 there, and that's a 1, and that's a 3. So we can solve those 3 numbers. So we are almost able to fill this entire row because we found twins here. All right, let's see. See what we can find. Let's look at this. We have the same situation here now that we filled in that 3. So what do we have here? We have a 2. 9's already there. 6 isn't there. 3 and 1 is. So we have two 6 twins here, and we can solve those. In fact, now we can solve the that's a 7 there. That's a 2. We can solve those because of that 2 now. And let's see what's missing here. But before we do that, now we're only missing one number here. We got the 1 and 3, 6, 9, and 2. There's a 5 in here that isn't here yet, so we know that's a 5. And what are we missing here? 4, 7, 8. 4, 7, and 8. Let's see if we can solve those. There's a 4 and an 8, so that's a 7, 8, 4. Okay. Oops. Move the paper a little bit there. All right, let's see if we can fill in a few numbers here that are easy to see. All right, now I know we can finish this right here. That's a 5, but I'm going to leave it blank for a minute because I want to talk about these 3 cells. If we look here, we've got here and here, we can find what these 3 empty cells are. In fact, let me show you a relationship here. These 3 numbers and these 3 numbers are these 6 numbers. We've already got a 2 and a 4 there, and a 6. So the other 3 numbers are 1, 7, and 8. There's a 7, so that fits there. See, now if this 3 and 9 were missing, we could have found these 3 numbers just by looking at these other 6 numbers. These 6 numbers here. So we found a 7 there. Let's fill in that 5 now. There's a 2 that I just saw, so I'll put that in. There's a 6 right there. It's a little tricky. Got 6 there, ghost 6s here, and ghost 6s here. So that's how we got that 6. There's a 9 right there we can fill in. Now here's a 4. Now we got that 4 because one of these is a 4. We have 4, 7 twins there. We've got a 4 here and a 4 here, so one of these is a 4. So using double column elimination, we eliminated these 2 columns. We know the 4 goes there in that box. Now we've got a missing number here. Let's see if we can look at this column right here. This is what's called a loner cell, this right here. And you can go to sudokuprimer.com and look at the techniques section and learn about loner cells. Those are very useful and powerful. So let's see, we've got a 2, 3, and a 9 here. We've got a 2 and a 9 here in this box, but we don't have a 3 yet, so we know that's a 3. And now we're only missing a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5, 3 and 5 in that middle box here, or in this column, so we can solve them. And then let's see, got a 3 here, a 3 there, now some of these are pretty easy now. Here's another loner cell. Let's see if we can find that. 7, 2, 3, 4. No. We can't find that one yet. Here's a loner cell right here with this row. Let's look at that. We got a 7, 3, 2, 5, 9, 5, 9. I can't solve that one either. We do know one of these are ghost 1s here, so we can solve these 1, 8s now. Then we know, now let's look at this loner cell again. We've got 7, 2, 3, 4. And now we've got an 8, so we know that's an 8. Let's see if we can solve the rest of this column. 7, 8 there. Okay. I know we can solve this number here because we've got all the numbers here. 4, 3, 9, 4, 3, 9, that's a 9. 2, 8, and 7 are already there. 2, 8, and 7. So we know that's a 9. What are we missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and 6, so we can solve them now. What are we missing here? 5, 6, 5 and 6. Okay, that's a 5 there. 6 and 8 are missing here now. And we had a 4, 7 twins there. Still can't solve those. So you had a 1, 8 right here that we can solve now. one of these is an 8, so that's an 8 there. And these are 4 7s also, 4 7, 4 7. There's a 7, so 4 7 4. And what are we missing here? There's only 2 numbers left. 1, 5, 6, 7. 1 and 7. So 7 and 1. That's it. So I hope that helped you understand that there are lots of relationships that you can see in a puzzle, and they will help you find numbers. We started out by finding twins in several locations, several examples of those, and they helped us find lots of numbers. And then we were able to finish the puzzle using other techniques. Well, I hope that helped, and I appreciate your watching. I appreciate your comments. I like hearing or seeing your comments that you have. Enjoy getting good comments is always nice, and we're probably going to start working on section or patterns again, so stay tuned for some more videos on patterns.